Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Haunted Encounters. I am Dallisa Hocking. I'm your host for today. Excited to be back with you. This is our third episode of Haunted Encounters, and we're going to be taking a look at different paranormal activity that's going on at the Hotel Apache at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel in the fabulous city of Las Vegas. I was actually down on the Strip the other day. I do live in Las Vegas, and it's packed. And there are a lot of people there, and there are a lot of people downtown. Las Vegas is booming. So if you're thinking about having a getaway and you want to go on a little trip somewhere, visiting the Hotel Apache at Binion's Gambling Hall is the perfect way to do that. And I want you to take some paranormal footage and share some stories with me after you get back from your trip. So welcome everybody that's tuning in live, or those of you that are going to be catching the replay. The key is to really watch this within 48 hours because we do have giveaways that we do, and today is no exception. We will be giving away a complimentary 2-night stay here in just a couple of minutes so that you can come and have your own ghost adventure at the Hotel Apache. I'll be giving away a gift as well as a 5th generation psychic medium, which means that I predict the future and I talk to spirits on the other side, or people that have passed away that are in heaven, however you want to say that. I'm very non-denominational with that, but I'm going to give away where we're going to all get together and I'm going to do some card readings for folks. So stay tuned. You may, if this is your first time tuning in, remember me, I was headlining a show at the Hotel Apache inside the Apache showroom. And that's how I got connected with this project. And I'm thrilled to be with you today. Before we get any further, do me a favor. Could you just drop a comment and let me know where you're tuning in from today? What city and state? I see already through the comments here on the live feed, we have locals, because I recognize some of these names that have been watching us each week. So welcome back, everybody. Nikki, Jackie, Annette, I think we have a Jackie. I'm terrible with names. I should be better with names since my name is so difficult sometimes. Jeff and James, welcome so much. James, it looks like it's your first time tuning in. Welcome to the show today. We have Las Vegas. We have Colorado. We have Minnesota. I was born in St. Paul. I need to get back there and visit. Let's see. Amarillo, Texas. I used to live in Fort Worth. I love Texas. Yeah. Florida, nice. Space Coast, Florida. I've never heard of that. I'll have to go visit that. Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Missouri, California. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. West Covina, California. Nice. Welcome in. Yeah, keep commenting. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the show. Beautiful. So keep commenting and let us know. Today we're going to look at a couple of different paranormal stories. And you are part of the audience, and I want you to interact and let me know what your take is on these different stories. So we've got one, Tim's back again this week, the general manager of Binion's in Fort Queens, and he's got a really interesting story about things moving in his office. So we're gonna take a look at that, and then Shannon and Patrick will be joining me and they'll be weighing in on what they believe is happening in his office. And then we have a haunted hallway story that occurred at the Hotel Apache, so I'll be bringing that to you as well. So just, get comfortable and listen in, and you're going to weigh in and be one of our expert panelists on today's show. So it'll be fun. But like I said, keep watching because we will be giving away prizes today. I think maybe we just do that. Let's just give away the first one, shall we? Are you ready? I like doing a fun fact. I think Las Vegas has so much history. And I put together a little clip here. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to play this clip for you. There's going to be a fun fact in there. So just listen, read the fun fact. And then there's going to be a trivia question in the video. I want you to look at the trivia question. And you're going to go over to the Binion's Facebook page. The Binion's Facebook page. Don't be commenting with the answer. That's cheating. Okay, I want you to go over to the Binion's Facebook page and message them. The first person that has the correct answer to the trivia question in the video will win a complimentary 2-night stay to the Hotel Apache at Binion's Gambling Hall. It's going to be that easy, okay, folks? So let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Remember to message it in. Are you ready? Okay, did you get that? I'll repeat the question. Okay, how many rooms does the Hotel Apache currently have available to stay in? You have to message it over to the Binion's Facebook page. So go on the Binion's Facebook page, just type in Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel in your Facebook search bar, message them, and I'll bring Elizabeth on in just a few minutes and we'll let you know who the winner is and what the correct answer is, so keep watching. There's another chance actually to win right now, but your deadline is 3 p.m. Pacific time today. So you've got a little less than 3 hours. What we're doing is my company, Spirit and Spark, and Binion's have teamed up and we're doing an Instagram contest. And so here's how it works. You're going to go on Instagram to either Binion's_LV or at Spirit and Spark. I'll show you in a second. I made a little clip to show you. And you're going to click on the post and you're going to follow the accounts and tag a friend. And every person you tag is an extra entry to win. And Binion's and my company, we're both giving away a complimentary 2-night stay. So make sure you're participating in that. So let me show you just really quickly how to do that. So you just go over to Instagram, go to Spirit and Spark or Binion's_LV and look for the post that looks like that. And you're going to click on that and all the instructions are there. It's really easy, but the deadline is 3 p.m. Pacific time today, which is April 21st. So that's another way that you can win. But don't worry, I'm giving away more stuff as we go through today's show. So beautiful. I'm going to bring on Shannon, who's going to bring her insight and her opinion. She used to host a lot of ghost tours, and I want to hear what she has to say. So let's get ready with our segments on today's show. All right, Shannon, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dallisa, thanks for having me back.
I know you've been a lot of fun. I keep asking you, like, will you come back again?
It's super fun to talk ghosts with you. I love it.
I love it too. It's awesome. So as I teased earlier, we have a couple of things that we're going to be showing on today's show. The first one's going to be from Tim, the general manager. We're going to watch his story. This is actually filmed inside of his office. I've been in his office. I have picked up spirits in his office and taken a look at that. So I'm interested to get your take. And then, of course, we'll bring Patrick Keller on as well and get his take on this. So let's go ahead and see what Tim has to say this week.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm here in my office, and several months ago, I had an experience that was kind of unique. Sean, one of our people that works for us for Four Queens, is our director of slot operations. We're having a meeting. We're just sitting here. My hands are just like I am right now. I always seem to keep a pile of stuff on this side of my desk. And we're sitting there, we're just talking and going through some stuff. And as the process happened, I'm sitting here just like this, and in the middle of our conversation, this whole pile of stuff just flew off the desk. And both of us looked at each other like, okay, none of us touched that. That's very unusual. It kind of spooked us a little bit because how did that move? Because it was not on the edge of the desk. And so we were both very concerned. We kind of looked at each other like, oh, okay, well, it's time for us to end our meeting. And we grabbed the papers, put them up back on the desk, and we kind of like, oh, okay, it's time for us to go out on the floor. So there are a lot of things in the property that happen you can't explain. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that things happen. Another thing that happened was I was talking to my assistant, and we were talking about one of our employees that just had passed, sadly. And I'm sitting there talking to that employee, and my pictures on over here of my family flew off the desk, dropped down, and we weren't even close to it. So there's a lot of things happened here that we just don't know how to explain them, but there's definitely something happening here that's unique compared to other places.
Oh boy. I'm like, yeah, they're moving stuff on you, Tim. I remember this was probably like 2 weeks ago. I was at my parents' house, and my dad and I were talking about one of our relatives that passed away years ago. And this person who passed away was not the nicest person. Okay. And we were just kind of reminiscing about it. And this angel like jumped off of a shelf and we're like, we're going to stop talking about it now. What do you think? What do you think about this?
So I think, well, first of all, like I said last week, bring a buddy when you're doing activities. So one of the great things about that situation is that there were two people present. So, barring environmental factors of like having because when you're looking at footage and you weren't there, people are going to be like, oh, he said the table wasn't, off, or there wasn't any wind or whatever. But it sounds like somebody pushed those papers right off of there. And I think somebody was I'm so curious to hear what Patrick has to say, but I think somebody was trying to get their attention. And it's interesting because of the things that Tim's talked about, like in the cash room when he was talking about that a couple of weeks ago. And like, I think that, there's a difference in entities and ghosts. And generally speaking, I think the ones we're talking about are earthbound and hanging out. And they're not people who have passed over and come back like you were talking about with your relative. They're people that are probably hanging out and have a vested interest in what's going on in the property. And whether or not they, appreciate or like the person that they're trying to get the attention of or the work that's happening around that area. I think you have a lot of spirits there that are invested in what goes on in those offices and on the property. So that's what I think is happening. And with the frame, I think it was the same thing. They're trying to get Tim's attention. And what's interesting about Tim, I don't know Tim. I've never met Tim. Of course, I want to hang out with him so badly. But they are definitely interested in him. And they are definitely wanting to get his attention all the time. And I'm guessing it's because of his history there and his longevity in the work that and his position there. But yeah, I don't have any question that I think that's what it was.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think they're trying to get his attention to say, try this, try that. Like they're still involved, with trying to give him some suggestions. Yeah. I'm going to go to Patrick Keller's clip. He's the host of the Big Seance podcast. While we do that, I would invite the live audience. Can you comment and let us know, have you ever had an experience with ghosts moving something on you? What do you think is happening in the story that Tim was telling us? So I want everybody to weigh in. So let's hear what Patrick has to say.
Hi again, Patrick Keller from the Big Seance podcast. And this time, I think I might surprise you. I think you may have expected me to be the skeptic or, be the one who kind of, ruins it. But I really do think that this can be a thing. And I believe that story that Tim was telling about the things moving off the desk and the frame being moved off the desk. In fact, one of the things that makes me believe this is the fact that I feel like I have been touched by spirit or energy like twice in my experiences. And one of them for sure was very, very moving and very powerful. And so I know if I can be touched, I imagine that objects can be touched. I also have plenty of stories that I've heard from people in my life whom I trust, and they have told me experiences and stories about things moving. But I do think that one of the things that spirits will do, if we're living and working around these objects, and if it's our office and if it's a place where we spend a lot of time, if you think about just the most basic things that someone could do or a spirit could do to get your attention, it's going to be trying to interact with the things around you to get you to pay attention, because they're probably trying all of the time. My mom and I have a pact. I have an agreement with her that if I pass, I am going to reach out to her with at the bedside table. I'm going to be moving things around the bedside table, anything electric, anything that can be moved, and just bugging her. And she's going to know that's me. My mom's plan for me is that she's going to write a message in the dust, because we have this like funny family thing that we absolutely hate dusting. And so we never really dust unless we have to. Well, her excuse is that she's not going to really dust, and I shouldn't dust because she's going to write in the dust that she's passed and that she's okay. So I really want to believe that people can move things, and I really hope they do.
I want to see that dust.
I love that. And by the way, I love his skepticism. He doesn't ruin it. That's silly. But I have a pact with some of my friends, and I don't feel comfortable talking about how they would, what their messages were. But we have pacts with messages too. And mine is with my husband, but also with my friends. I leave cabinets open, and it's a pet peeve of his. And I told him I'm going to come back and haunt him by leaving all the cabinets open one day.
I love that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nikki was saying that she thinks that the ghosts in Tim's office were definitely trying to get his attention. Yeah. Leona was even talking in the comments about an experience that she had. Yeah. They'll move stuff.
Hey, is there a cowgirl room in the hotel? So Samantha said the cowgirl room TV turned on by itself yesterday. So I'm wondering if that's in the hotel or just something else. Maybe Samantha could comment on that. I find it, like I said, I think last week, that when it comes to energy and those types of things, I feel like it's easier, or it takes less of their energy to manipulate turning on lights, or, even noises as far as making sounds through like a radio or a TV, like Samantha was just saying. But I think it takes a lot of energy for them to physically be able to move something like a stack of papers. So.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy. We're kind of, as human beings, on the frequency scale here, and spirit's way up here. And so they've got to kind of meet us in the middle. I used to talk about it before every stage show that I did over there at the Apache showroom. Yeah, so it takes a lot for them to be able to do something like that. Okay, are you ready to go on to the next story?
Yep, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. And then we're going to bring Elizabeth on. After we get through this segment, we'll talk about the trivia answer. We'll give away some more prizes, so make sure you stay tuned. Okay, so here's Lene's story. This is a story that happened when she was staying at the historic Haunted Hotel Apache in Las Vegas. So Lene, let's hear from you.
Hello there, my name is Lene, and I was staying at Hotel Apache in room 281. And upon entry of the room, after I checked in, my room window was open, and that bothered me a little bit, so I closed the window, latched it shut, and went down to the casino to hang out for a little bit. Came back a few hours later, was getting ready for bed, laid down, went to sleep, and was awakened by footsteps that sounded like they were running behind my head. So I thought that was a little weird, but then I looked around in the dark and thought, well, there's nothing in here. So I went back to sleep. After a little while, I was awakened again by a nightmare that someone was entering the window that I had closed and locked. So then I laid there for a while with my heart beating because it scared me to death. And it took me a little while to go back to sleep. I was a little uneasy, but it was a little scary in there to me. So strange happenings at Hotel Apache.
I think I would have left.
Well, it's interesting. And she didn't say if she was staying with someone, but when you have those experiences, sometimes you're like, I know this happened, but could this, you really start to kind of figure out, like, is this happening? Did it happen? And then more things happen, and you kind of feel a little bit, oh, sorry, I'm echoing there. You kind of feel a little bit like, okay, I know this is happening for sure, but I'm not sure. So I'd be interested to know if she had somebody else there that she was able to kind of think those things through with, because also I feel like once things start rolling, you're very sensitive to it and you can pick up a lot more stuff. I don't know what your experience has been, Dallisa.
Yeah, I do. Because I've been through the Hotel Apache and, Binion several times and picked up on paranormal activities and ghosts and spirits that were stuck there, spirits that were just passing through, having a memory and sharing that memory with me. So, you're right. I find that when I do kind of a tour there, right, because we've gone through with different news crews and I'll tell them what spirits and activity I'm getting in each room. And when you're in one room, you start getting the ball going, and then you go to the next room, and then it's like, okay, it's compounding, and then it's like, oh, everybody's coming, and then it's like the light keeps getting bigger and brighter, and so they know that you're there, and that you can see them and you can hear them, and so then they all want to start talking. Yeah, absolutely. When I heard this story from Lene, it felt like she was experiencing residual energy that was in the building, and that she was open enough to it, and her frequency was high enough and open-minded enough to be able to have that experience. So we're going to go to Patrick's clip here in just a second, see what he has to say about Lene. But everybody watching, go ahead and drop us a comment. What do you think Lene was experiencing? What do you think she was hearing in the hallway? And she mentioned feeling like there was an energy trying to get through the window, when she was sleeping. So do you think that was just her imagination? Do you think that there was a being that was trying to get through the window? So we're going to be taking a look at your comments, and let's listen to Patrick Keller.
Oh, Lene, this story reminds me so much of, I've never been to Binion's, and I want to be there. I want to go there sometime, but it does remind me of my stay at the the Stanley Hotel with my family. We went there and stayed there for about 5 nights. And the first night I was so incredibly freaked out just because of my mind and my brain. And I had watched a whole bunch of the investigations on YouTube and a lot of the paranormal investigation shows. And a lot of them had spent quite a bit of time in the room that I was staying in, and I hadn't realized that. And so my mind played so many tricks on me the first night, and I didn't sleep very well. And I did have like lots of weird dreams and everything. And then every night after that, the rest of the 4 nights, slept like a baby, and it was beautiful. So I do want to say that I think in some cases it can be just your mind playing tricks on you. You saw the window open and that bugged you. And so that could be that could have come out in a dream. At the same time, I do know that, it's easy for spirit to reach out in dreams, or at least I believe that. And I've had people share that belief with me too. And I feel like I've had communication from spirit in dreams. Now, those were spirits that I feel like I, was close to, or were, ancestors of mine communicating. I'm not so sure who was maybe trying to get in that window, but I do think it's possible. I do think it's creepy, and I believe you. I guess I'll just say that. It is interesting, and a memory that I think you'll probably remember for a long time.
Isn't that the truth? She's definitely going to remember that. We had a couple of interesting comments come in. We had Elisa say, at my previous job, we shared a building with a mortuary. I would often hear the doors opening and slamming shut when I was the only one there. Let's see. There was a couple of other ones on here. So Kathy had posted and commented, I wonder why no one has tried to release the spirits that are trapped there. I actually have. I've been in there a few different times where spirit has come through, usually when taking media through on a tour, and it just so happens that a spirit will show up and say, please let me go. And so I have done that. Yeah, KTL says not her imagination, maybe somebody who prefers the window open for fresh air. Oh yeah, we see a comment in here that I did help release. But yeah, it looks like there's some great comments on here. So Shannon, what do you think about interacting with ghosts? Do you think that we should be afraid of ghosts? Do you think that scary things could happen? Because if you're in an office and things fall off your desk because somebody pushed them, or if you're in a room and you hear things going by, is that something that you've been afraid of, or people should be afraid of?
Well, I would say this. I mean, I would say I've investigated over 50 residential commercial properties that were actively, what I consider actively haunted, not just residual haunting. And so that's a little bit more about, hearing the same repetitive things that, the building has pulled in together, an energy that you can hear over and over, versus kind of an active haunting of an entity being there, whether it's an earthbound spirit or something else. So I think that we always have to remember that, generally speaking, these entities or spirits generally were human. They are people that can be stuck in grief or feeling lost or frustrated, or so they have personalities after death. And those personalities can act out in different ways. So it's not to say that you should go into every situation feeling afraid, but you do have to be mindful and respectful of the fact that these personalities can act out in ways that can be scary or nerve-wracking. And so I do think that, just as in life, we should have good personal boundaries and good personal boundary hygiene with situations in our relationships, and making sure that we're not, that we're being mindful of those boundaries. And I think it's the same with paranormal activity. And making sure that you're treating the situation as a real situation, and that you put your boundary up. So, it's fun to think about or have things happen that are very dramatic. But when you're in those situations, you don't know necessarily who that is or what it is and what the intent is in trying to get your attention or acting out in that way. So I do think we have to be respectful and definitely mindful, because scary things can and do happen. And I've been in a lot of situations that have been particularly scary. I've seen a person that was next to me in an investigation literally get kind of punched and go over by an earthbound spirit. And I just, I also wanted to say something to Kathy's question about releasing spirits or trying to cross them over. I think that, that's a paramount idea of trying to help and be of the light. But the reality is, there are people and spirits, I believe, anyways, in my experience, that are trapped for many different reasons, who are not willing to go. And it's not necessarily an easy fix or an easy situation, or even something that an individual can facilitate at all times. So it's really dependent on the circumstances and the people that you're working with, I think, or at least the entities or the ghosts that you're working with.
It's a great point. Great point. Yeah. Have your boundaries, but also be just as respectful, like you said, of the spirit world as you would human beings. So, because the spirits will react for sure. I think we should hear what Patrick has to say. He's got a few words to say in regards to ghosts. So let's hear from Patrick Keller one more.
All right. Dallisa this week has asked me a few questions, and she has asked me, for one, do we think we should be afraid of ghosts? And in general, I think not. One of the things I can't stand is when you turn on the TV, like paranormal programming, and everything is always a demon, and everything's always a dark entity or a shadow person, which is always a negative entity. And that drives me nuts. Maybe certain people draw certain energies, possible. That's possible, I think. But I myself spend years and hours reaching out and trying to communicate with things. And more than anything, nothing happens, let alone anything negative. And so and even if it is kind of scary or spooky or negative, I think most of that we bring upon ourselves. I don't really think there's a huge reason to be afraid. And if you are afraid, then that's probably a time when you don't want to be reaching out to communicate with spirit. Now, if you don't have the choice because something is reaching out to you and it's getting uncomfortable, I really do believe that you can try to reach out and ask for them, kind of like I mentioned in the last episode, to set boundaries. See if you can get some kind of, hey, obviously, this is a space that you like to stay in. Can we set some boundaries? But I also think it's okay to ask someone to leave. I know that exorcisms are really big in Hollywood and on paranormal TV, but from what I hear from people in real life is that most of the time those things just make it worse and make it more dramatic. And it's a lot of show that isn't necessary. That's what I kind of feel. And get yourself in a good place and maybe reach out for some help, but also try to take care of it yourself because it's your home, and see if you can kind of set boundaries yourself. One thing is I, for example, love Ouija boards, and I almost never get any activity from a Ouija board. I make a joke that sometimes Ouija boards are basically like coasters for me. I've got them sitting all around. In fact, my trackpad for my computer right now, it is a Ouija board. And so most of the time, nothing happens. And I also lose patience trying to get something to happen. Am I afraid of Ouija boards, or do I think there's, people should be burning their Ouija boards, or, their Ouija boards themselves have all this energy or negative energy? Absolutely not. So it was nice to spend some more time with you guys again this week. My name is Patrick Keller, and you'll find me at bigseance.com, and I'm the host of the Big Seance podcast.
He cracks me up.
Patrick, we're going to send you into the Hotel Apache with a Ouija board. I am not a big fan of Ouija boards. I have seen some pretty nasty situations as a kind of an unintended consequence, but that's not everyone's experience. So I respect that, and I respect Patrick's comments. But we had some really fun comments about different people's experiences. And I think it's so interesting because I was talking about how somebody I saw next to me, how I saw somebody next to me kind of double over, and Leona saying that she was pushed. And if you have that experience, or you're a part of that experience, it's a very intense. I would think, Leona, you would think that, but it was a very intense experience, and it was very, very real. So I think that that's not necessarily due to a lack of boundary when those things happen or whatever, but it's something to be aware of, that there are potential situations like that when you're going into properties that you may know have those issues. So, and then there's other people who have had different reactions, like Kathy, who had that encounter with a spirit, or has encounters with spirits, and whether or not to tell somebody. And I think it's important, one of the things when you're doing this work by yourself, or if you do this work by yourself, or if you're not even intending to do this work, because I have some news flashes, those people who are intuitive, who either don't recognize it consciously, or are then foisted into situations where they're like, what? I didn't ask for this. I'm not signing up for the paranormal hotel. I'm just hanging out at so-and-so's house. Those situations can happen. And I would say they can make you feel a little bit crazy in the beginning. They can make you feel like, what just happened? And, minimize those situations. But what I do see too, is that when people start to open up and they start to really kind of embrace their intuitive feelings, whether they have clairvoyance or clairsentience, or they're just having impressions of energy, the more consciousness they have around that, the more those things and activities can happen. So it can kind of become a domino effect. So I would say to people, if you're starting to have those experiences, you should definitely try to find, like-minded people, or people you can talk to start to understand what you're feeling and how to protect yourself if that's an issue for you. Because otherwise it can be really overwhelming. And for people who are more physical mediums, or physical, they take on the physical attributes of things, it can be really detrimental to your health if you're not understanding that's what's happening to you and finding ways to protect yourself about it.
Yeah, great reminders for all of us. Shannon, you brought so much to today's episode. I'm thrilled that you were here. So thank you for being a part of it.
Thanks for asking me, Dallisa. I love coming on.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. I'm going to bring Elizabeth on here next. Elizabeth is going to share with us the answer to today's trivia question, and also reveal who the winner is of that contest. So Elizabeth, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. So Elizabeth is the social media extraordinaire for Binion's Gambling Hall and the Hotel Apache. and she's been monitoring everything for us backstage. So do you want to tell us what the answer was and who won?
Absolutely. I am going to start with my thank you, though. Thank you, Dallisa. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Patrick. We very much appreciate all of your hard work and insight for this show. It means more than you can even imagine. So thank you to you all. And now, without further ado, also my cat has decided to join us. We're going to get rid of her.
Oh, yay! Cats are very spiritual.
She's wonderful. She came up as soon as we started talking about the experiences at Hotel Apache, actually. So, Hotel Apache has 81 rooms available to stay in. We technically have 82 rooms with our room 400, but we don't let people stay in there so far. If that changes, we'll be very excited to offer it. Our winner today was Quick Zip, who answered almost immediately, was incredible. And Quick Zip, we will be sending you a message telling you how to collect your 2-night stay at the Hotel Apache.
And Quick Zip better send me some paranormal footage or some stories. So I'm counting on it.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. And then earlier in the show, somebody was asking about the Cowgirl TV, and you knew what that was. So can you let everybody watching what they were talking about?
So for anyone who has been to Binion's Gambling Hall, we have some incredible cowgirl dealers. They're a lot of fun. They love interacting with you guys. Please come see them and visit them. Now, they do have a dressing room on property that we keep available for them. And in that dressing room, there is a TV. And so she is talking about the TV that's in their dressing room. Now, their dressing room is located in the basement of the Hotel Apache. One of the areas we are hoping to get some information from with Dallisa and maybe even Shannon and myself. So we're hoping to bring you guys some more fun information from that area of our hotel.
Yeah, we got a lot to investigate over there.
Oh, we really do.
Yeah. Oh, man. The viewers are going to have some fun with that. Well, thanks, Elizabeth, for jumping on. I'm going to get to our prize giveaway before we close out today's show. And thanks for announcing who our first winner was today. And a reminder that you're over there on the Binions_LV Instagram. I'm on Spirit and Spark. And we're going to be selecting our winners for those two-night complimentary giveaways after 3 p.m. Pacific time today. So you have one last chance. It'll be fun. Thanks, Elizabeth. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Dallisa. And thank you, everyone, for joining us with today's show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. We've had a lot of comments today. So beautiful. Okay, I'll be seeing you soon. All right. So as I teased earlier in the show, we have more prizes to give away. I have to say, just like Elizabeth was mentioning and Shannon said a few minutes ago, we've had so many amazing comments today. People have been sharing their stories and helping each other in the comments, and it's been fantastic. So thank you to everybody who's been doing that today and joining us as an extension of our broadcast. So let's go ahead and give away some prizes, shall we? Okay, the first prize that we're going to give away, and if you've watched this show the last couple of weeks, you know how this works. I'm going to tell you how you can win a complimentary 2-night stay at the very historic Haunted Hotel Apache. So I'm going to show you how to win that, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you how you can get a complimentary gift with me that I teased earlier in the show. And so what you're going to do to enter to win a 2-night stay is you're going to go to tinyurl.com. Don't worry, I'm going to show you this in a minute. tinyurl.com/Binion's prize. And it's a really short little form. And they're going to ask you for the code word. The code word for that prize, as well as my gift, is lucky. Your word for this week is lucky. So let's go ahead and show you how to redeem and enter this contest for the 2-night stay. You have 48 hours, and so we're broadcasting live right now. We'll give you 1 p.m. Pacific time as the deadline on April 23rd to enter this. So this is how you're going to enter to win your 2-night complimentary stay. All right. And remember, you can always rewind this video or watch it again to get that link. Okay. And then those of you that are into psychic readings, maybe you like oracle cards or tarot cards, things that are very predictive in nature. Well, I've got a prize for you this week that everyone is eligible to receive. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go on a separate broadcast here in April. And I'm going to pull cards for everybody that's tuning in. It's complimentary to you. I just ask that you go to my website and let me know that you want to attend and use the word lucky for this week's code word. So you're going to go to spiritandspark.com, click on ghosts in the menu, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if you want to have an invitation to join me live complimentary, where I'll be pulling oracle cards and giving people messages, you want to make sure that you go on the website and you can share this video, Haunted Encounters, with your friends and family. Tag them in this so that they can get the code word for this week and redeem my gift, as well as enter to win the complimentary 2-night stay at the Hotel Apache. And a reminder, head on over to Instagram and enter that contest. That ends at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time today on Instagram. So it's been another fun and fantastic show. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Thank you, Elizabeth, Shannon, and Patrick Keller of the Big Seance. And we had a lot of fun. Thanks for being a part of today's show. And I'll go ahead and show you the closing credits, which will recap everything that I've showed you today. All right, we'll see you next time. Remember, your code word for this week is lucky. We'll see you again next week.